This company is the highest on my watch list at the moment. This is something that I'm doing a lot of work into trying to understand the management team, but hey everyone, so stock screeners aren't my preferred method of ID generation, but I have a great stock screener that has uncovered some very interesting companies. And I'm going to go through each part of the stock screener that I used, and then I'll show you the results of the screen and some hidden gems that require some more digging. Today I'm going to be showing you a lot of international stocks, and I use interactive brokers to do my buying, holding and selling, and hopefully more buying and holding rather than the selling. Anyway, link in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. It's, I think, the safest brokerage platform out there, and it gives you access to many international markets. So I'm over in TIKR Terminal and I've gone to the global screener tool here. And we're going to start with the first criteria that I've entered into this screener that I've made is for just revenues. Now I want it to be a compounded annual growth rate for a financial year 2015 to 2020 to be greater than 15%. So obviously I want to see revenue growing, and that means the business is growing. It's easy as that. Next one is gross profit margin percentage. So I want the value to be equal to or greater than 40%. I think above 40% makes for gross profit margins makes a business a decent business. I know Costco and businesses like that, they're really good businesses as well, and they have gross profit margins in like the 20% range, but generally speaking, a good company is going to have high gross profit margins, and even better if it's growing, but that's something I would look at later. But I wanted to start above 40%. So the next criteria is actually evaluation criteria. So I want the forward market cap to free cash flow to be less than 15 for the next 12 months. So NTM is next 12 months. I want it to be less than 15. So it means that we're paying less than 15 times free cash flow for the stock at the moment. I think that would be cheap if it's growing at 15% per annum in revenue. This should make it quite a cheap company. So that's my valuation criteria. Next one I'm going to look at is current ratio. This is a sort of a debt. This is to look at the company's debt. I don't want it to be over leveraged or at any risk here, so I want the current ratio to be greater than a 1.5. The next criteria I used is cash from operations, and this is essentially the line before how we work out free cash flow. So cash for operations minus maintenance capex is how we work out the cash flow generated to owners, and this essentially is the line above that. So I want that to be growing in line with revenue. So I've said from 2015 to 2020 to be greater than 15%. That means the revenue is hopefully flowing down into the cash to operations. So that's why I've done that one there. Return on equity, that's essentially the management team making good decisions on how they're growing the business and what they're investing in and things like that. I want that to be greater than a 15. So anything above 15 is 15% essentially. So we're hopefully going to see more growth in the future above 15%. Now I've got here in the country section is that I don't want it to be from one of these countries. And the reason is because I either find the country itself very difficult to understand, and there's going to be a lot of companies that come up from these countries, or it's difficult for me to get information about these companies, or I can't even interactive brokers, which is a great trading platform, it won't give me access to these particular countries. So we've got Turkey, Taiwan, Korea, China. Now it's not Hong Kong, it's mainland China, India and Egypt. I know you can get access to some of these through interactive brokers, but I find the information coming out of these countries really hard to understand. So I've just ruled them out for now because it's just going to help me with my filters. I'm happy to look in most industries, but the capital markets industry is really difficult to look at. Essentially like small tier banks and mortgage brokers and lots of things like that. The rules in all the different countries are really different. So I'm just going to rule them out for now because it's kind of in the too hard basket. If it was in the USA, it would be okay. I can understand that one, but other countries would be too hard. So I've just ruled them out for now. And return on invested capital. I wanted this greater than 15%. Again, this is a bit like return on equity where the investments made by the business into their capital, essentially, and what the return they're getting from that. And I want the last 12 months to be greater than 15. So I've already clicked the fetch screen button. Let's go now take a look at what companies we find. Now you really do need to get a handle on basic accounting terms because this is the language of business. Without knowing what these terms mean, using a stock screener is quite useless. So brush up on your basic terms so you can uncover some good companies like I am here. Okay, so the screen has brought back to us 32 out of 67,500 companies. So that's done its job already, narrowing it down to 32 for us, which is pretty cool. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each company just quickly and see whether I should investigate them a little bit further. So the screen isn't perfect because as you can see coming up here, the market cap to free cash flow next 12 months, some of them are negative, which means they've got negative free cash flow. So we're just going to rule them out immediately. So we'll just be looking at the ones that have market cap to free cash flow actual number here. Okay, TIKR New Energy Corp, no idea what that does. They're in the USA. They obviously got good financial metrics because I've filtered for that. It's in the semiconductors and semiconductor equipment industry. That might be really hard to understand. It maybe it's really easy. I don't know. I'm going to have to have a quick read of that one and either rule it out or dive into it a bit more. The next one on our list here is Sibanye-Stillwater. Now, I've actually done Sibanye-Stillwater here on this channel before. It is a very cheap, majority platinum mining company, but just rare metals company essentially, based out of South Africa. I think they're really cheap, but the problem is with a lot of the companies we're going to see here in the metals mining space, in the commodity space, they're very reliant on what happens with commodity prices. So this company might have a great year this year and then next year be terrible because the price of the asset they're digging out of the ground has dropped dramatically. So I'm not good enough to predict commodity cycles and commodity prices. So I'm going to just not worry about metals and mining for today, but it has come up on the list here because the valuation metrics look really good. Next is a company called Quiddell Corporation, I guess, healthcare equipment and supplies. No idea what they do. Based out of the USA, maybe that's interesting. It looks pretty good financially speaking. Okay, there's one to dig into a little bit more. Next one, 10 Square Games. This is out of Poland. Gaming companies is going to come up a few times here as well because, look, they're going to have great gross profit margins, as you can see here. But they essentially just make app games, like games through phone and stuff. I don't know what the longevity of that is. I don't know whether they have any good brands or not. I'd have to look into it a little bit more, but I'm probably going to rule most of them out because I don't think they're going to be around in 5 or 10 years time or be a totally different company. I don't know. That one's going to be nearly too hard basket, but I'll keep it there for now. I like the gaming developers that have brands like Nintendo and EA and Take-Two Interactive with Grand Theft Auto and things like that. They have some serious longevity because of those brands. Unless 10 Square Games has a brand, I'm not going to be interested. Next up is Belvar Group Plc out of Great Britain, a real estate management development company. I don't like real estate development companies. I don't know. It's going to be hard for me to understand those ones, but I might have a little look just in case there's something weird going on here and maybe there's an opportunity, but probably not going to look too much into that one. Okay, the next two with negative free cash flow. Okay, we got a gold mining company. I can tell here it says metals and mining out of Canada and it says gold in the name. So I'm just going to move on from that because like I said about commodities, I'm not going to be able to work out the commodity cycle. Another oil gas, it's a commodity. Sylvian Platinum, so another platinum mining company, again, is a commodity. Healthcare equipment and supplies, Hartalega Holdings Berhad I think that's out of Malaysia. So, don't know anything about that company. Maybe there's a hidden gem here. I don't know. Would have to look into what equipment and supplies they make. Another mining company that's Impala, that's out of South Africa as well. They're very cheap, but again, it's a commodity business. Gold, commodity business. Oil, palm company out of Nigeria. Food products, wow, that's going to be hard to get my head around what's going on with this company, so I might just move on from that. But look, maybe you're familiar with the Nigerian marketplace, so this one could be really interesting to you. I don't know. That's why this screen is pretty fun. Next one, Kasan Rubber Industries, so a rubber manufacturer out of Malaysia. Again, don't know much about that industry at all. I like Malaysia as a country, don't know anything about its business world. Okay, another negative free cash flow. Saigon Cargo Service Corporation out of Vietnam. Air freight and logistics. Ooh, pandemic problems there, I assume, with their air freight. Maybe not. Maybe they're shipping huge amounts at the moment. I don't know. Maybe that's actually an interesting company to look into. There we go. There's another one. Innoviva. I've heard of that company before. Pharmaceutical company out of the USA. Priced pretty cheap at the moment. I'm not sure why. I'd have to look into that one, but yeah, okay. There's a pharmaceutical company out of America that's made this screen. Okay, next one is Royal Bafokeng Platinum. Okay, Platinum, we're going to move on from that because it's, the next one is iron ore, another commodity play. IGG, don't know what that is. It's in entertainment. Might have to look into that one. It's in Hong Kong. Okay, maybe have a look into that. Mobrook, okay, here's a company that we are familiar with if you've been following my channel. I've done a video on Mobrook before. It's a waste management company in Poland with some fantastic numbers and a fair bit of opportunity to grow further in the future too. Hard company to get your head around understanding the Polish the Polish landscape for business is pretty tough to work out, but that company I've dug into before. It's cool that it's coming up on this screen. All right, next one. Swedish gaming company. This is a little bit like I said earlier. I don't know what brands they have or what exactly they provide in the gaming space, but I think they're just an app developer, and I'm not really into app developers. I don't see the longevity. Next one, it's a winery. Looks like a winery business. So, oh, I actually know this. This is out of Romania. I know this company because they have bars in Moldova. They run a lot of bars and actual like wine houses and stuff, like physical locations, and that's a tough business to be in considering the pandemic and things like that. But I don't know whether Romania has a great reputation for good wine, but anyway, if you're into the wine space, this would be a company that you should take a look at because it's looking good from a financial point of view. Dundee Precious Metals, we're going to move on from them. Semiconductors out of USA, MKS Instruments, don't know anything about them. Maybe we'll have a look into that. That sounds interesting, I guess. Another platinum miner, and the last company on the list. So don't forget about the ones that are last on the list here, because this company is actually pronounced Judgement, and I've seen this on a screen before, and I've looked into it a little bit and in the past. And then interestingly enough, maybe a couple of months ago, I was watching a video from Investing with Frank, and here on YouTube, and he actually has it on his watch list at the moment for some reason. And I asked him why, and he said there's an Australian investor who's done a lot of work into this company and invested heavily into it, and he will have some more information. So I tracked that down, and there's a fantastic write-up about this company, and what they do essentially is they're a website conglomerator out of Japan. And I actually really understand that business because I've been in the website building business before. I understand like what traffic numbers are important and what SEO metrics are important and things like that. So this company is the highest on my watch list at the moment. This is something that I'm doing a lot of work into, trying to understand the management team, but there's some really good signs coming out of the valuation of this company and the financial metrics of this company, and its growth potential as well. I think it's really uncovered a hidden gem here, this screen in particular, because Judgement is something I really want to do some more digging into. So try the screen yourself and make some adjustments to the criteria to suit you. I might try 2015 to 2019, then 2015 to 2021, and cross-reference that with this 2015 to 2020 list and see what companies have been able to stay on all three of these lists. That will tell me more about how they handled the pandemic. I think that's a good idea. Now, I want to say thank you to Miser91. You ask great questions, you add great value to the channel, and I really appreciate the support. You are a legend. Thanks for staying to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.